They danced until they dropped. In 1518, a city watched as people convulsed, laughed, screamed, and kept moving hour after hour. No one agreed why. 7 rituals, no clear answers. In each case, we have witnesses, fragments of evidence, and claims that sound impossible. Over the next 15 minutes, we treat each as a mystery, then ask whether they are separate crimes, cultural echoes, or symptoms of something deeper. This is Nineveh Nexus. We look for the untold stories at the edges of history, the rituals people keep when institutions fail them, the ceremonies that survive where explanation ends. These are not supernatural tales. They are human acts that left traces, and sometimes victims. Our journey into the unexplained begins in a place far from any city, in a quiet, unassuming limestone valley. At the valley's heart lies a sinkhole, a natural chasm plunging deep into the ground. Yet for centuries, this specific pit has drawn people to its edge. Archaeologists, digging a slender trench, find layers, coins, beads, animal bone, a child's wooden toy, all deliberately placed. No inscriptions, no shrine. The offerings stop for decades. Then one season begin again. The records show curious continuity. Identical objects across generations. Who leaves them? Why this pit? The sinkhole sits at a boundary between two communities, a liminal place. Plausible explanations, a long-lived pilgrimage with lost meaning, a boundary ritual to mark seasonal movement, or an ecological hazard perceived as sacred that drew repeated offerings to appease chance. Church court registers record a peculiar practice in one medieval parish. Once every spring, a procession wound to a chapel on a hill. Participants carried flags, scraped their arms, and chanted a verse not found elsewhere in the region. The ritual appears in records for only a generation and then stops. The entries end mid-sentence. Evidence and context: parish court entries, tithe lists, and a bishop's terse visitation note complaining about superstitions. Plausible explanations: official suppression by ecclesiastical reform, demographic collapse from plague, or a reactive ritual tied to a crisis that, once the crisis passed, was abandoned and purpose lost. In the mid-20th century, isolated islanders performed new ceremonies after contact with industrial goods. Photographs and tape recordings capture uniformed dancers, mock radio sets, and sharpened wooden airstrips. To a visitor, they look like imitations of machines. To participants, they were earnest attempts to summon material wealth. Evidence and context: field recordings, photo plates from 1940s expeditions, and interviews preserved with elder participants describing why the rituals mattered. Plausible explanations: symbolic replication as a way to process sudden cultural loss, ritualized hope directed at a technology they could not fully control, or deliberate staging to attract colonial attention. The real terror here is the cultural rupture. Rituals born from a world turned upside down. Consider the strange case of ancient Egyptian funerary rites, a subject we believe we know so well. Beyond the golden masks and the monumental pyramids lies a world of lesser-known practices, spells, and symbolic gestures whose true meanings are still fiercely debated. Were certain incantations meant for the soul of the deceased, or were they theatrical performances for the living designed to reinforce social order? The evidence is often ambiguous, a collection of intricate hieroglyphs and tomb paintings that can be interpreted in multiple ways. Similarly, the great megalithic structures that litter the European landscape, like the timeless stones of Stonehenge, stand as silent witnesses to rituals we can only imagine. We know they were sites of immense importance, aligned with celestial events and built with a staggering investment of labor. Yet the precise nature of the ceremonies conducted within these stone circles remains one of history's most profound enigmas. Were they temples for sun worship, astronomical observatories, or sacred burial grounds for a ruling elite? The bones and artifacts recovered from these sites offer clues, hints of feasting, of sacrifice, of communal gathering, but they do not speak for themselves. They are pieces of a puzzle with most of its parts missing forever. The mystery deepens when we turn to the clandestine world of ancient mystery cults, such as the Eleusinian mysteries of Greece or the cult of Mithras. These were not public religions, but private, secretive societies that promised their initiates personal salvation and hidden knowledge, guarding their secrets so effectively that we are now left to reconstruct their beliefs from cryptic art. What profound truths did they offer that drew so many followers, from humble soldiers to powerful emperors, into their fold? The answers remain locked away, a testament to their success in keeping their rituals truly secret. Finally, we must approach the delicate subject of early indigenous rituals with the utmost respect and caution. From initiation rites that marked the transition from childhood to adulthood, to ceremonies designed to maintain balance with the natural world, these rituals were integral to the survival and identity of entire cultures. Yet they are also the most vulnerable to misinterpretation, viewed through the distorting lens of colonial records or modern prejudices. Our goal is not to sensationalize, but to understand the profound worldviews that gave rise to these practices, acknowledging the vast gaps in our knowledge and the enduring questions that remain. We have journeyed to the edges of the historical record. The 7 mysteries we have explored are not mere historical curiosities. They are windows into the vast and varied landscape of human belief. Yet, after examining the evidence, we are left standing before a closed door. The past, in its truest and most intimate sense, remains fundamentally unknowable. Each unsolved ritual is a mirror, reflecting the limits of our own knowledge. They force us to move beyond simple narratives and to confront the messy, complex reality of human experience. Ultimately, what connects these disparate rituals is a single unifying thread: the human question. How do we face death? How do we ensure prosperity? How do we find our place in the cosmos? The enduring mystery of these practices should not lead to frustration, but to curiosity. It is an invitation to explore further, to read, to think, and to question, and in doing so, we may come to better understand the enduring and often mysterious rituals that shape our own lives today.